The anxiety of people thinking their favorite band is gonna sell out is ruining their experience with the music. Your favorite artist is doing great, but you're hating on him. You're hating on him. It's like, nowhere else in the entire music community does this shit happen. What's up guys, Jordan Needham from Jham Entertainment, and welcome to this episode of Shredheads. Today's topic is about being too big to be cool, or selling out per se, and it's gonna be a little more ad-lib than most of my Shredheads episodes, but it's been on my heart for a long time, so I just wanna get it out there. Let's do it. So if you've been a fan of metal for a while now, you've probably noticed a trend, and that is a band starts out, okay? They start out, they have a really small following, but it's like, it's cult-like, you know? Like, people are like, you know, they think they're part of something truly unique and original, and they just love it. It feels like they're part of a family. And then the band grows a little bit, everybody starts getting a little concerned. They're like,
hey, you still gonna make that old good shit, right? The heavy shit, right?
And then, you know, they're still on board. Second album comes out, they still like it. They're like, hey, yeah, this is good. In fact, a lot of times, the second album is like the most important album. That's the one that everybody loves. You know, the first one was like the grassroots, but this one is like everything came together, you know? And then, you know, things start heating up for that third album. And everybody's kind of getting more and more concerned because they're getting more mainstream success, mainstream in the metal community, okay? And they're getting some traction. Next thing you know, they drop a single, it's got a clean chorus in it, and everybody loses their shit. They're like,
I can't believe it. They're selling out. They're selling out. This is not what this band is. It's supposed to be heavy. What the hell?
And everybody just starts like, just going AWOL, you know? And it's like, before we get too deep into this video, guys, I just wanted to mention something that I really haven't shared with this YouTube community yet, and it's pretty exciting to me. Recently, I launched my first ever website. That's right here, jhamentertainment.com, and I think it's pretty cool. I created most of it myself, and I'm proud of it, but it took about 6 months, so I'm not gonna act like I did an amazing job. But again, final product, it's pretty nice. But why should you care? Well, another thing I haven't shared with this community is that I'm actually a 3D artist. I spend quite a bit of time on CGI programs and 3D rendering. So on my website, you can actually support this kind of passion that I have by purchasing a canvas print such as this, or a frame photo of the same sort of thing. There's a lot of sci-fi, space, kind of astronomy art, and there's even a little bit of cartoon art going on there. And I do not plan on stopping this. In fact, I plan on, you know, making several more projects that I will then put on there. So if you don't like something on there now, which I'm sure there's something you can find, there will be more in the future. So just stay in that loop, and I'm sure one of these days maybe you can pick up something for a friend as a gift, or you can just put it on your own wall. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty cool. I have a lot of fun doing it, and I would really appreciate if you guys could show your support. Show your support. If you guys should show your support. Anyways, guys, jhamentertainment.com/products to pick yourself up a copy of my 3D renders. But at the same time, while their original fans are going AWOL, they're picking up like 3 times the amount of new fans. So they're selling more, and that's where the term selling out comes from. But a lot of times, after, you know, you really sit back and you take the emotion out of it, and I know music is emotional, that's the point of it. But if you take the emotional attachment out from those first couple albums, you sit back and kind of look at their discography as a whole, discography. You sit back and you go, okay. This third album, the producing is way better. I mean, way fucking better. You can actually hear all the toms. And the bass is way better. Yeah, oh, he took vocal lessons. Okay, so he's gotten better. Oh, they're playing cleaner. Just like everything kind of makes it look like, this band actually got a lot better since their first album. And now you realize, oh, okay, this album's actually really good, and there's a reason that it's selling a lot of albums. It's not because the band sold out, it's because the band got smarter and the band plays better, okay? There's some times where it's like, that's clear sellout, you know, like we're talking Metallica Black Album, shit like that. But here's what I want to talk about, okay? The anxiety that metalcore fans have in this community that their favorite band is gonna sell out is becoming so toxic that as soon as there's a clean chorus, they
sold out. They sold out.
Which doesn't even make any sense to me, because metalcore was built off of clean choruses. You know, there's always cleans in metalcore. If there's no cleans, it's basically, okay, here we go. Here come the Reddit stormers and everything. But if there's no cleans in metalcore, it's borderline hardcore at that point. You know, you gotta have some cleans to be metalcore, in my opinion. So specifically, what bands am I referencing here? There's 2 or 3 bands that are really at the forefront of my attention right now in this kind of world. I would say number 1, of course, is Bring Me the Horizon. They went huge and then people just smeared them. You know, I know a lot of people that used to love them, they haven't even listened to them for 5 years. They're like, they sold out, and they haven't listened to their latest EP that's got some serious breakdowns on it. It's got Dear Diary, which is like Slayer mixed with Bring Me the Horizon. It's got, you know, it's heavy stuff. But for some reason, once you get to this like level of success in this community, everybody just assumes that you sold out, you made dog shit radio music just to sell records. And that you took all your emotion out of the music, you didn't really put anything, you didn't put your heart and soul into it. It was just to sell records. It had nothing to do with pleasing the fans or making good music or really testing your artistic abilities. Which, you know, that's a whole other topic, because I believe that the metalcore community, hardcore community and such, you know, they limit their artistic abilities. They say,
I want everything to be just like deathcore. I just want everything to be blast beats and screaming the entire song. And if you slip up one time, I'm gonna start labeling you butt rock, okay?
At some point, you know, you wonder why these bands sell out and then kind of lose touch with their original fan base at some point, because that fan base just gets so freaking toxic. Like, instead of being like, okay, it's not my type, but, you know, I appreciate or I respect what you guys are coming out with. I can tell you guys put a lot of work into the producing. I can tell you guys have gotten better as musicians. I can tell this is better. They sit there and just criticize the hell out of them, like insult them and just smear them like they're terrible people for making music that their original fans aren't necessarily there for. It's like, do you want every album to sound like the first one? That's what I want. That's the main question. Do you want every album to sound like the first album that your favorite band came out with? If that's the thing, then why are they making new music? And I think that makes total sense. Here we go. We got, yeah. We got another plane. We got another goddamn plane ruining my video. Yeah, you fly, plane. Yeah. And 2 other bands are coming to my attention right now. Probably the biggest one in the scene would be Architects. Now, this band, of course, exploded over the last 2 albums that they put out. Holy Hell, and then their most recent, For Those That Wish to Exist. Huge, right? Well, I saw something coming from the start of their singles and album cycle, For Those That Wish to Exist. Everybody starts getting concerned. They're anxious again. Oh no, Architects is gonna sell out, guys. They're gonna be fucking trash. Yeah, they removed the Blez. It's gonna be radio rock bullshit. Meanwhile, you listen to the singles and it's like, okay, what happened here? It just sounds like a better song. Everything's structured better. The lyrical writing is exactly what you want from Architects. It just sounds more complete, in my opinion. This album sounds more complete than anything else that Architects has put out in the past. And that's not to say that I don't like old Architects, okay? Holy Hell is like, of course I love that album, and then the album before that as well, All Gods Have Abandoned Us. So I'm not like a new fan of Architects. They're still making heavy shit. And I think a lot of times when these people are throwing out these words like butt rock and radio rock and it's not heavy, you know, it's soft, they aren't even really listening to it for themselves. They just heard some pissed off Redditor say it, and then they go listen to it and they're like, yeah, you're right, it's not deathcore, so it must be soft. Meanwhile, on the outside of things, if I were to play Animals in front of the average person that doesn't listen to metal, they'd be like, yeah, that's fucking metal. Like, you're listening to some heavy shit there. Now, I do want to say this. For the most part, I think the response for Architect's new album has been largely positive. So I don't mean to focus on the negative here. It's just something that I feel like the anxiety of people thinking their favorite band is gonna sell out is ruining their experience with the music. They're just scared that every song is gonna be a sellout, so instead of experiencing and really enjoying what that band has to put out, you know, innovating a little bit here, they just write it off and they're like, you know what?
I could never ever open my mind to something different. I could never do that. That's impossible for me. That's absolutely impossible.
It's so close-minded that it really does pain me to see it. It's like, are you guys adults or are all of you 11 years old? And you never know. You really never know because, you know, they're hidden behind Twitter and Reddit accounts. So it's like... So I've actually been going on this topic for a little bit longer than I expected I would, but there's two more things that I kind of want to bring up here. One, I have a prediction that While She Sleeps is going to get really big here in the upcoming year or so, especially with the release of this new album that's coming out in April. I kind of predict the same thing is going to happen. I think this album's going to be huge, and then their next album, everybody's going to start,
they're selling out, guys, they're selling out. Oh, it's not even heavy. It's not even heavy.
And then they get pissed off because they're playing at arenas and they're doing really well. The band's making a lot of money. They're finally getting attention for the art that they've been putting out. They've gotten better. And they're, you know, your favorite artist is doing great, but you're hating on him. You're hating on him. It's like, nowhere else in the entire music community does this shit happen. Your favorite artist starts getting successful and then you just dog on them. Just fucking, they're garbage. They're fucking garbage, dude. Anybody could write this. One last quick thing I wanted to splice in there is that I think there's bands kind of like Parkway Drive that never tried to really be like the heaviest of the heavy bands. They don't tease it like everything's gonna be the heaviest single they've ever put out there. And I think by doing that, you know, they're kind of like on this borderline hard rock metal kind of thing. I think by doing that, they've avoided this whole toxic criticism of you sold out, you're trash, you're not making heavy music, you're radio rock, all that. Because for the most part, the response to Parkway Drive seems to be pretty much positive, and they own it, you know? And those are guys that you just respect the hell out of. I think that Parkway Drive does what they want to do. They don't care if it's like super, super heavy. And if it is super, super heavy, then great. Parkway Drive definitely has some heavier stuff. I mean, there's complete metalcore songs by them. There's songs that are like, wow, okay. But you can also see like the dad rock community kind of listening to them. But for some reason, you know, the metalcore community just can't tolerate that. And, you know, there's a small fraction of it that can, where it's like, okay, I'll let it slide. You know, the dads like this one, but I do too, and it fucking slaps. And that's kind of how I see Parkway Drive. Would you stop? Why do I live by an airport? Why do I live by an airport? One more thing that I want to say to just top this video off is a short little message to all the artists that may or may not be listening to this video. If you or your band is deciding to change your sound, change your style of music, or maybe you're throwing something in there that's totally unique and your fan base isn't necessarily asking for, I encourage you to be as brave as you can and just go for it. Like, just put it out there. Because the problem is, if you're always stuck within this confined box of what people want you to sound like, you're never gonna innovate, you're never really gonna push your creative boundaries. So I give my full support to those people that take a risk and take a chance on changing their style and changing their music instead of just putting out the same thing every year. And as the great Steve Jobs once said, the people don't know what they want. Now you can take that to the extreme, but I'm not doing that. All I'm saying is that You know, a lot of times people don't know really what they want as much as they beg and ask for it. And then the next thing you know, an artist comes out with something completely unique and just like out of left field, and they sit on it for a little bit and they're like, you know what, I could have never asked for this. It's so creative, it's so unique, but I love it. And I would have never seen it coming. And that's how artists work. Anyways, guys, those are my thoughts on the too big to be cool kind of sellout topic in the metal industry. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And if you like this video, please hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell and like button to show your support. I feel like there's a few things that I didn't really touch on that I wanted to, but that's to be expected when everything is kind of ad-lib, just rumble jumble, just out there, you know. So, but overall, I think we did okay. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Shredheads. I'll be back soon. This has been Jordan Needham from Jham Entertainment, and I will catch you next time.